Hello, welcome to the Age of Sigmar Stat Center here on the Honest Wargamer. All of our stats can be found also, if you'd like good comprehensive stats for Age of Sigmar, on thehonestwargamer.com. And if you click on the stats, you'll see all the amazing stats that you can see here. You got win rates, battle plan usage, battalion usage, all sorts of really cool stuff done by Ziggy and Rob. They do that, and I just present the stats. So a special shout out to both of them. Rob also normally writes a blog you can find normally attached to this video on the website. They're worth reading, and go check them out. He's probably the only person in the world who reads more lists than me. Probably fair. So worth it. This stat show today, we're going to be looking at 194 players playing across 7 countries. 16 factions went 4-1 or better this weekend, and it's so that's pretty amazing. Seraphon, there's none of those. The meta rep has dropped by 70% since September, which is pretty crazy. Caradron, there's a new book on pre-order, but these are the ones that we haven't seen this weekend. There are no Bone Splitters. This GHB, we have seen no Bone Splitters play across the course of this event. When we go look at the events in a minute, in the 5-1 category, in the 5-0 category, this week, we've got 4 Slaves to Darkness lists, a Khorne list with an Exalted Greater Demon of Khorne, Ogres, Skaven with the most incredible build, where he's putting a Claw Lord in the Laquan, the Soul Seeker, teleporting him up the board, and then killing stuff at damage 3 with a flaming weapon. Amazing. Sinesh, Stormcast, and Sylvaneth. And then in the 4-1 category, there are 4 Beasts of Chaos, 4 Gitz, 3 Nurgle, 2 Stormcast, 2 Fireslayers, 2 Sylvaneth, 1 Fleshy Corpse, 1 Khorne, 1 Lumineth, 1 Ogres, 1 OCR Bone Reapers, 1 Soulblight, and 1 Tzeentch, which is pretty great. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. Let's get into it right now. Some exciting news, actually, before we get on with the lists, is there's an event in Boston called Ironweld on May the 27th and 28th. I was lucky enough to go over to an event that was ran by the people that are running Ironweld last year. I had a great time, and there are loads more tickets available. The guys want to build like this massive Age of Sigmar scene at their events. I'm a huge fan of the organisers, big friends, and they're just wicked people. So if you are in Boston or in the US, or I guess anywhere in the world, and you want to go, there'll be links in the show notes to go and find tickets and go to the event. The first event for the stats this week is the Realmgate Rampage II. Organised in upstate New York, or just New York City, by Mike Mullis. It was located here. For podcast listeners, you're looking at just a building. Like, it's a Holiday Inn, is what it is. Okay, so we've got 2 exciting 5-0s. We've got Anthony Trentinelli and Joseph M. Pagano, both members of the Tough Cloud. And they both went 5-0. Congratulations to both of them. No surprise from Anthony, who's been one of the best performing Age of Sigmar players for the past couple of years. Not a surprise for Joe, but Joe's first, I think, 5-0 ever. Super happy for him. Especially as I know Basil's going in for that. So shout out to Joe. So what they're running, so Anthony was running a Slaves to Darkness Kabbalist list, and he took the grand strat, Follow the Path to Glory, which is to turn your character into a Demon Prince. Pretty good. And then he's got a couple of ways to do that. He's got Chaos Sorcerer Lord, who's got the Mark of Chaos Undivided, which lets you re-roll one of the results. He's got Command Trait Master of Magic, so he's re-rolling to cast. He's got an Artifact to power the Arcane Tome, so he's a wizard. And then he's got the Tunnel Master. He's also got a spell that lets him roll in the Eye of the Gods. So a lot of people in the chat are very unconvinced. Some people thinking best Grand Strat, some people thinking risky Grand Strat. Yeah, but either way. And then he's got another Chaos Sorcerer Lord. And then he's got something we're seeing a lot in Slaves to Darkness lists at the minute. 10 Chaos Knights with the Mark of Nurgle, with also the Ensorcelled Banner, the Eroding Icon, which is -1 rend when you attack this unit. Now, this is a big, chunky unit of 30 wounds on a 3-up save. You're ignoring a Pipple Rend, and you're also, because you're Mark of Nurgle, you are also -1 to be wounded. So it's a great pinning unit that just pins the army back. Then he's got the Unmade, which is a great tech piece which stops redeploys, which is really nice. And then I'd love him to play into OBR and just be like, do you want to redeploy? You can't. It's just for me. And then he's got the Corvus Cabal, another great tech piece because the Deep Strike, especially useful for achieving battle tactics. Then he's got as 2 hammer units, 2 damage dealers. He's got a Chaos Chosen and he's got Varangard. Chaos Chosen and Varangard. Chaos Chosen and Varangard. He's got 2 double reinforced units, so he's got 10 Chosen and 6 Varangard. All with the Marker Khorne, all doing the additional damage. And he's got the Soul Screen Bridge. So he's going to reliably cast the Soul Screen Bridge, pop a unit across it, and then do a charge. And then do, obviously, both of those have fight twice, once per battle. So loads of damage, and just a great list played by a very great player. Joe's list, though, is one for the legends. He's got Stormcast Eternals list in Knights Excelsior. His leader is Karazai the Scarred. Not the wizardy one. Yeah, so not Mufasa. He's got Jafar. No, have I got that right? No. Who's the bad one? I think that's not Lion King at all, right? Scar. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, then he's got Karazai, the combat dragon. He's then got a Celestant Prime. Yikes. He's got a Celestant Prime, the Lord Imperator. The Lord Imperator has got the Master of Magic, the Arcane Tome, and also Tunnel Master. And then he's got 3 units of 3 Annihilators dropping from the sky. The Lord Imperator letting them drop from outside 7 inches. Vanguard Raptors, unit of 3, and he's got the Holy Command Thunderbolt Volley, so he's going to be able to shoot them twice. And he's got 3 Praetors. Now, the 3 Praetors, let me tell you, they are so great because they can bodyguard for Karazai. They either give him a 5-up flat ignore or a 3-up ward. So either 5-up ward, a 5-up ward or a 3-up bodyguard. So either way, they're surviving. The Karazai's got like an additional 9 wounds, I think it is, on his War Scroll, which is wicked. Yeah. So yeah, just excellent. So he's bodyguarding Karazai. Then he's launching himself in as Karazai, doing damage at range with the Celestant Prime, and then also launching him in, dropping the Annihilators in. It's a mega aggro army. It's just pure rage. It's pure New York hardcore beatdown. Well done to Joe for doing so well. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at the 4-1s. Looking at the 4-1s, we've got a bunch of famous people here. Sam Gould, absolutely love this guy. When he's not chopping wood down in a forest and making other places smell of rich mahogany. He's playing all sorts of lists, but he specifically, this time, played Khorne. He had a Blaze of Khorne, Reapers of Vengeance army, Scarbrand, Archaon, and a Bloodsecrator. That's pretty fun. I've been enjoying seeing the Archaon Scarbrand lists. This is pretty powerful stuff. Normally, every Khorne list at the minute, until the new Khorne book, is really all about pushing Scarbrand in to pose a real threat. So you give up most of the army so Scarbrand does the damage. In this situation, Sam's like, I'm going to double down. I'm going to throw Archaon. Deal with Archaon first, Scarbrand second. Then he's got a Slaughter Priest, a Bloodsecrator, and then he's got 1 lot of 10 Blood Warriors, and then he's got 3 lots of 10 Blood Reavers, and then he's also brought the Cockatrice, which I think is incredible. Cockatrice doing mortal wounds into a unit so that then they only hit on 6s is really good into Archaon, who's already very survivable, and then also Scarbrand, who you don't want to be hit. So little bit of a trick there. Love that. That's powerful stuff. Next up, let's just close that down. Next up, we have Frederick Brigras Brograno. I've definitely said that wrong. He was running Flesh Eater Courts and Blisterkin. He just took 3 massive damage dealers, big hammers. He's got an Abhorrent Archregent. He's got the Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist, and then he's got 9 Crypt Flayers. Also got an Infernal Courtier, and then he's got the Incarnate with some Crypt Ghouls. So the Incarnate's going to go in, do a load of damage. You're pinned in, and then the Flayers are going to go in. We've done the math on a show before with the Flayers. Loads of attacks, piling attack twice, tons of mortal wounds, absolutely insane stuff, right? Just crazy things. And then the Abhorrent Ghoul King Royal Terrorgeist has also got, is very fast as well if they get off the spell Spectral Host, because it gives you run and charge. And you're going to go very fast and also do a bunch of damage. Also, you've got all the summoning in the list as well. So yeah, it's really fun. Flesh Eater Courts are actually in a pretty good spot at the minute. They're just really offensive. They just do tons and tons and tons of damage, and they've got good board control as well. Then not in third place, but Carl Ong of the Tough Cloud also went 4-1 with only 1 loss. So let's just quickly talk through his list. So he was using Gloomspike Gitz and Jaws of Mork. His list was only 1,920 points, so that he could have a double triumph. So he's got Indomitable, which means you can ignore a Battle Shock test once per game, and he's got 2 of those, which is pretty impressive. Then he's got a Dankhold Trogboss, Grinkrak, Scragrot, and a Squig Boss with Nasher Squig. Then 2 lots of 20 Moon Clan Stabbers, 36 Squig Herd, and 15 Boingrot Bounders. So I want to clear something up because this came up on a show recently. If you have Scragrot on your list, then Scragrot can be considered your general. So even though the Dankhold Trogboss is the general in this list, Scragrot also counts as your general, therefore unlocking things like Squig Herd and Boingrot Bounders or whatever to be able to be double reinforced and turning them into battle line. Some people are missing that. It's because Scragrot has the War Master keyword on his War Scroll. So War Master makes him count as a general, which means that you can do that. So just worth noting, because it's confused some people in the comments before. So 15 Boingrot Bounders. We've done the math on this. 15 Boingrot Bounders with all the buffs can kill Archeon twice in a turn. From alive to dead, twice. 15 Boingrot Bounders. They'll delete the Earth. There's, I don't think anything that can stop them. Squig Herd, also incredibly offensive. Loads of damage. 6 Seeky Snufflers, which, if we're honest, are more screens than anything else. But also can give a 5-up ward to a unit. And you've got Marsh Crawler Slogoth, which is giving the +1 to hit aura out. Now, Carl did only lose 1 game. I wish we could have seen that game. I imagine it would have looked something like this. This is a picture I'm putting up on YouTube, you can see, of Carl getting decimated by Tomling's Soulblight Gravelords. He turned all of those squigs into zombies. And Carl there not looking happy. But showing off some pretty impressive triceps. So keep hitting the gym, Carl. You're looking really fine. Anyway. We've got Ryan Muskoff from Wicked Dicey. Wicked Dicey, great gaming club. Loads of events run by those guys. They've also got a YouTube channel if you want to go check it out. Wicked Dicey is what it's called, unsurprisingly. Carl was running, let me just get this out right. He was running Magikin of Nurgle. He had Droning Guard, Blobe, Orgots, Lord of Afflictions, 2 lots of 3 Plague Drones, some Puskal Blight Lords, 3 Nurglings, 10 Rotmire Creed, and 6 Furies as allies. Really useful for going and grabbing objectives, especially for an army that plays very centrally. It wants to put a lot of disease points to as many units as possible. Blobe and Orgots obviously help with that. They charge in, drop disease over, be very difficult to kill, and then keep fighting through that as well. Soppity Bar Piper for stopping Parlins, very effective as well. Very, very cool. Then you got Sean Allen from the Backwoods Meta, and he was taking a Stormcast Eternals army with a Knight Incanter, a Lord Relictor, a unit of Vindicators, 2 units of Liberators, minimum Liberators, and then a unit of 6 Vanguard Raptors with Longstrike Crossbows, and then 2 units of 10 Protectors. Those Protectors are in the Galician Veterans Battalion, so they're going to be able to fight in 2 ranks. And then the Longstrike Crossbows are in the Galician Sharpshooters Battalion, which is good, along with some of the other units. So they're going to be able to snipe out those Galician champions, which is pretty fun. And I like that. That's everything from that event. I hope everyone had a nice time, and well done on everyone's results. Our next event is the Brewdog AOS event, organised by Callum Sinclair, in Scotland. In Scotland. In Scotland. It had 40 players, and the event was actually won by a Norwegian. So the one of the organisers, or the main organiser of the 2D6 AOS club in the home Norway, Mr. Gear Videld. Now, Gear, I'm going to just talk through the list, and then I'm just going to interview Gear, because he's such a big brain at Age of Sigmar, and it's such a big brain list. It's perfect. So we're just going to do that. I'm going to interview him instead. So do look out for that on my socials when we get the opportunity to organise that. He was running Slaves of Darkness Ravagers list. He has Be'lakor the Dark Master, great for shutting down your opponent, obviously. Chaos Sorcerer Lord, then another Chaos Sorcerer Lord. His main Chaos Sorcerer Lord, who's the general, is the Idolater Lord. He's got Heal, because he's also a priest. He's got an Artifact, the Arcane Tome, so he's also a wizard. He's got Marcus Sinesh, and he's got Law of the Damned, Demonic Speed. This means he's going to be able to buff up his 30 Splintered Fang, with the Mark of Sinesh. So if I'm right in thinking, he's got run and charge, and also charge on 3d6 available to the Splintered Fang. So there, I think the correct term is he will yeet it in order to beat it. Then another 20 Splintered Fang. Don't forget you can also recycle them in this unit, in this sub-faction as well. So you can like recycle half, yeet them in, recycle half. That's pretty fun. Then he's got 9 unmade, so 1 unit of 9 unmade, sorry. So same thing as I said before. Great tech piece for shutting down your opponent's ability to redeploy. And also rally. I think it's redeploy and rally is what they stop. And then you've got a unit of 6 Varangard with a Mark of Khorne, making it a little bit more of a sustainable army, because obviously they've got great armor save, and again, they will slap the ever-living Jesus out of you. He's also got a Chaos Gargant as an ally from the new Beast of Chaos book. This is actually probably one of the things I'm most excited about, looking at these different lists. We already saw this from the Nurgle list in the last kind of event. You can see a lot of allies that have really clutched, and Chaos Gargant at 145 hits pretty hard, but obviously being able to reduce the armor save of your opponents is pretty brilliant. So just really fantastic ally, really nice tech piece. And then he's also got the Soul Scream Bridge, so being able to transport one of those units and then charge off that as well is great. Gear, who's in the chat right now, said I painted 41 models in 8 days to get the list ready. 41 models in 8 days. Went over 5-0'd. Absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to talk to him about it. Watch out for that. Then maybe we'll do a list masterclass on it as well, as long as some of those elements haven't changed and any battle scroll updates in the upcoming future, because I think it's one of those ones that you could talk loads about. Yes, shout out to the Falcon. Give me a second. Nathan, who came second, who is from Scotland, but he got 4 in a draw, so not in the 5-0 bracket, but shout out to him, well done. He took Gloomspite Gitz with the Jaws of Mork. He had a Loon Boss, a Madcap Shaman, Squig Boss with Nash Squig, Scragrot, and Grinkcrack the Great with his crew. Then he took 30 Squig Hoppers. Then he took 60 Moonclan Shooters and 20 Moonclan Shooters. Then he brought himself 2 units of 5 Loon Smasher Fanatics and 6 Sneaky Snufflers. Now, I've been talking about this a lot. If you can't be a 1-drop, you should be a 10-drop, because he's got the Galician Sharpshooter Battalion. So his 2 units of shooters are in the Galician Sharpshooter Battalion, along with Grinkcrack's Loon Court. He's then also got a Warlord Battalion, because he's obviously taken... he's taken 1 Triumph only, and then he's taken an extra artifact, maybe. Yes, he has. He's taken an extra artifact. He took the Clammy Hand and the Moonface Mommet. Nice. Then he's got a Vanguard Battalion, and then finally a Battle Regiment. So he's 10 drops in his list, and I've talked about this a lot. A lot of people thinking Battle Reg is the one. Battle Reg may be the one if your army plays that way. But I think also Battle Regis is going to be really problematic thanks to Beast of Chaos. I don't think Beast of Chaos meta rep is ever going to be enough that it's going to be something you think about. But you can't Alpha Strike the army that's never going to be there because they can null deploy their army. Really interesting to think about. The rock, paper, scissors mechanics of Age of Sigmar may have been... This might be the most rock, paper, scissors it is, but it's also the most wildly diverse and exciting kind of top-end meta. Very exciting for teams when things like Worlds come up. Really exciting for looking through these things. So, absolutely love it. Just really, really good. So, yeah. Huge. So great list from Gitz, again performing well. Great list from Slaves of Darkness, and again something different to what we've seen previously. Shout out to both those 2 players. Awesome. Okay, in the 4-1 bracket, we've got a list of different factions. Again, it's Sigmar, it's all about that. Gloomspite Gitz, Scragrot, Loon King, Dankhold Trogboss, Rock Guts, 6 Rock Guts, 6 Rock Guts, 6 Rock Guts, and then 5 Spore Splatters, 5 Gobblepalooza, and then the very best thing, a reinforced unit of Dankhold Troggoths. You absolutely love to see it. Probably I should have said that in the 4-1 bracket, we have Sean Ricketts, Adam Turner playing Ogres, Phil McGuinness playing Beast of Chaos, Stu West, and Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts running a pretty crazy list of, I think Mark was running the Slaves of Darkness list, which had a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. This is Knights of the Empty Throne, Slaves of Darkness. Chaos Sorcerer Lord and a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. But then he had 10 Chaos Knights and 9 Varangard. 9. And then another unit of 3 Varangard. 12 Varangard in that army. Don't forget they got run and charge. And he's marked them all with Khorne, and they've all taken spears, which is pretty cool. Absolutely love that. Then our ogre list had a Huskard on Stonehorn, a Butcher, an Icebrow Hunter, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 Stonehorn Beast Riders. Now, what's cool about the Stonehorn Beast Riders, obviously, they've all got a Blood Vulture, and the Blood Vulture is really wicked for just applying a little mortal wound here and there, and then picking out characters, killing little units, just stacking mortal wounds on stuff. Means you've got to run at them. Really cool. Stonehorn Beast Riders, very fun. Also, just very difficult when they're like, when you put them all together as like a little death ball. So you put like 3 of them in a little block. I had an event this weekend at the arena, and we saw Fabian, who won the event, I'll talk about that in a bit, playing ogres as well. He just had a bunch of big Stonehorns like this list. You just put them all together, and if you charge one, you're kind of charging them all, and that's a real problem. That's a real problem because you're going to get hit by a load of them. We talked about Slaves to Darkness list. Fire Slayers, again, doing really well. They got Greyfjord, so you've got a Rune Sun, Flamekeeper, Battlesmith, Runefather on Magmadroth, and then a Rune Master and a Knight Zephyros. So no double Flamekeeper, which is kind of the build we've seen doing very well. I talked about it on last week's show if you're a Fire Slayer fan. Then he's got 10 Hearthguard Berserkers, 15 Hearthguard Berserkers, and 20 Volkite Berserkers with a Molten Infernoth. The Knight Zephyros is a cute little ally in there, really good for doing Galician champions and also doing that battle tactic cunning maneuver. So yeah, very cool. Love that a lot. And then we've got another Gitz list. Gloomspike Gitz, Jaws of Mork, Donkhold, a Donkhold Trog Boss, Scragrot, Squig Boss with Nasher Squig, and a Loon Boss. 40 Moonclan Stabbers, 30 Squig Hoppers. Don't forget those Moonclan Stabbers hold objectives from 9 inches away. 30 Squig Hoppers, 24 Squig Herd, and then 2 units of 5 Spore Splatter Fanatics. Not forgetting they give +1 attack out in an aura, which is really nice. And then a Mangler Squig, so a big monster for doing loads of damage. And he's also got the Loonskin Malevolent Moon, so a free Malevolent Moon spell, thanks to the General being the Trog Boss. It's pretty interesting, the Trog Boss is seen as the General a lot, because the Grand Strat chasing the Moon, which I think means everyone has to be under the light for a turn, or he has to be under the light for like 3 or 4 turns or something on the General. Very survivable, heals a lot, doesn't really die to chip damage. Then also you get an artifact where you get a free endless spell. Is pretty nice in this list, so that works really nicely as well. And I think, yes, those are all the 4 ones. Congratulations to everyone doing super well. I hope everyone had a nice time. Next event was at the TSN Arena in Nottingham. We only have one 5-0, so it's the only one I'm going to talk about, by Mr. Fabian Quinn of the Dragon Slayers. So here he is. Fabian had a great list. He had an Ogre Mortrized Boulderhead list. He had a Bloodpelt Hunter with Tunnel Master, a Huskard on Thundertusk, a Slaughter Master, and a Frostlord on Stonehorn. And then Stonehorn Beast Riders, Stonehorn Beast Riders, Stonehorn Beast Riders. The Rotmane Eldar, -1 to wound. Was very useful, he said, at one point. Spell Law Flaming Weapons he wasn't quite so sure about. He liked the heal command trait on the Frostlord and Stonehorn, because he's got the command trait Touched by the Everwinter, making him a priest and being able to do heal, which is very good, because you could do that even into combat. And then it's just all about the Blood Vultures, running around, doing what they need to do, and fighting and having a good time. Very powerful, rolled over a lot of people, but also Fabian's a really excellent player. Really excellent player, and he walked away with a bottle of gin, a trophy, and hopefully a bit of a hangover. So that was our event this weekend. It was called the G&T GT. It was just free gin and tonic all weekend. So that was our event. That was our only 5-0. Congrats to Fabian. Our next event was called the Midtcon GT, and it was being held in Denmark. Now, they didn't use BCP, and said they used Tawny Keeper. And so I've just copy and pasted the lists out. So I apologize for the poor presentation to people who are watching this visually. If you're one of the people listening to this via the sound of my voice on a podcast, then it looks the same. It looks the same. So we had 2 5-0s. We had Sun Hut and John Hugvad Minch. I've absolutely nailed their names. So Sun was running a Sylvaneth Oakenbrow list. Say it isn't so. Say it isn't so. I've been talking about this list for a couple of months now. As you know, massive fan, right? He's got it was the Burgeoning was the kind of season that they're in. He's got Warsong Revenant, who's the general with Spellsinger, Arcane Tome for the extra cast, and the aspect of the champion fueled by Gurish Rage. which is great, absolutely great. So that means that on a 3-up, like if you kill him on a 3-up, it's come back to life, which is great in an army that can also heal. A Tree Lord Ancient, and then a Spirit of Dirthu with a green word Gladius. Chop, 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 chop. And then the Knight Zephyrus and a Battle Mage. So Knight Zephyros, great for achieving some early battle tactics. Battle Mage, especially good, because you're going to be teleporting a load of Tree Lords around, or Dirthu, adding to their charge value. Love that. Battle line, 3 Tree Lords, more of a shooting unit than a fighting unit. Love to see it. And then Spite Swarm Hive for the additional bonuses to the charge, and Chronomantic Cogs for the additional, for the rerolls on the Warsong Rev, who's going to be doing all of the spell casting. Absolutely love all of that. So good. And then finally, so we got another 5-0, and this was just played by John Hugenmenche. And he was running Slaves of Darkness, Host of the Everchosen, and he had a Chaos Sorcerer Lord with the Master of Magic and the Arcane Tome, Marcus Nesh, and Be'lakor. Then 5 Chaos Knights with the Mark of Khorne, 10 Chaos Knights with the Mark of Nurgle, and then 15 Chaos Chosen with the Mark of Slaanesh. Let's go. And the Soul Screen Bridge. Teleport the Chosen over the bridge. Charge on 3d6. Yeet. Retreat. Keep it in... I've got nothing that rhymes at the end of that. Anyway, like 15 Chosen. Absolute. Love it. Brilliant stuff. Yeah? Great stuff. Really cool stuff. This is just fantastic. So love that. Congratulations to everyone in Denmark. Please don't use Tawny Keeper anymore. And I hope you had a great time at the event. Our next event is in Norway. It's called Norsehammer, and it was organised by Bjorn Hilg Stukenland, Gunnar Block Wadner, and Christopher Malberg. Nailed that. And it had 36 players playing at this event. It was located here at the Stavanger Hotel, which just kind of looks like a hotel, like in Norway. It's probably a 1-star hotel in Norway. But that's not to say the TOs wouldn't put them in. I just mean Norway's got great hotels because it's a fancy place. That's what I was trying to get at, not be disrespectful of the event, which is what I seem to have just accidentally done. So I don't want... Anyway, in first place, they're affluent, so I'm sure they've got fancy... I don't know. Anyway, in first place, Benjamin Fluda, nailed that, was playing Skaven, 5-0, with Skaven, don't worry, Rob, we're all just buddies doing social media, that's correct. Right, it was Skaven. He's got Thanquol on Bone Ripper, Verminlord Warbringer, Fight on Death. He's got the Devious Adversary and the Warpstone Charm, because he's the general, which you see a lot, and Flaming Weapon, so his big weapon does all that extra damage. Let's go. Warlock Bombardier and a Claw Lord. Then he's got 20 Clan Rats, and 6 Storm Fiends and a Warp Grinder. Pop up the Storm Fiends, do all of the shooting. 2 Wind Launchers, 2 Rattling Cannons. And then he's got the Fighty Doomflyer Gauntlets. He's got Laquan the Soul Seeker, the Endless Spell, to put Thanquol inside of it. Scoot his little boot up the board. Straight up the board. I hope the podcast guys really like that. It's a bit of noise. And then get him out. So in the first turn, you're dealing with some Storm Fiends that are popping up from the ground, shooting your little ass off. Yeah, Thanquol's getting out of a boat like it's World War II and just yeeting on the beach, right? And then the Verminlord Warbringer is charging up the board, giving people Fight on Death and just smashing folks in. Strong list. Skaven in a really tough spot, but I think now that you're not getting double damage against like Galician veterans, because you kind of almost always have to take the Clan Rats, then yeah, pretty cool. Love that a lot. Actually, we're just hearing some news hot from Fazerna, who's in the chat, about the Skaven list. So the Claw Lord that was in the list was given the Flaming Weapons buff for +1 damage on his weapon, was stuck inside the Laquan the Soul Seeker and yeeted up the board. And then because he's obviously got Fight on Death, thanks to the Warbringer, he was able to kill a Mega Gargant. Clawlord with a fiery sword in a magical boat who gets out and then fights on death. Legitimately, that sells Age of Sigmar to me. That sentence. That's the sentence that you want. That's it. That's the sentence that you want to sell all of Age of Sigmar. What happened? Okay, there's a small rat. Okay, cool. He got put into a magical boat after someone had set his sword on fire. And then he fought when he died. He went up the board, got out of the boat, charged a Mega Gargant, which physically is maybe 20 times its size as a miniature. Then hit it loads of time with his flaming sword, then got killed, and then while he was like dying, his soul fought back again and killed the Mega Gargant. Perfect. That's Age of Sigmar done. That's all I want. So in the 4-1 bracket, we've got Simon Lillehagen, Danny Elfsted, Lauritz Dahl, Ida Moss, and Thomas Berg, all going 4-1. Congratulations to all of those people. Super chuffed for you. So if we just go through their list really quickly, we had another Fireslayer list from Greyfjord with a bunch of Hearthguard Berserkers. We had another Stormcast Eternals list, but this time a little bit different. Knight Incanter, Lord Relictor, and a Battle Mage. Then 5 Fulminators in the list. Some Libs and Vanquishers, and then 6 Longstrike Crossbows and 10 Protectors. So a nice kind of like orientation of different unit roles there. You've obviously got the damage dealing in the Vanguard Raptors Longstrike Crossbows, and similarly with the Fulminators, so 2 big damage dealing pieces, and then you've got the Protectors for kind of taking the charge, being more of the anvil, but they also can dish out the damage as well. They're more of a brawler than the glass cannon that is the Vanguard Raptors. But just a really nice kind of like mixture of units, not overlapping on one particular thing, and all of them being able to deal with enemy units slightly differently to each other, but really, really well. So really like that. That's quite fun. There was an old Beast of Chaos list, so we won't bother talking about it, but congratulations to them for using that and doing well with it. Disciple Zinch, there's a Host Arcanum list, Curseling, Kairos, and an Ogroid Thermitage. Pretty excitingly, he's taken the Crunchmine Incarnate, but also Laquan the Soul Seeker in Zinch, which is pretty fun. I assume he's putting the Ogroid in the boat because he's given him the Griffeather Charm, and also the Stubbornness of Rhino, so counting as 10 on an objective. So it kind of feels like a good character for potentially going and doing the first turn battle tactic, and then also just like outscoring your opponent. Also really cool because he's going to have Infusion Arcanum, so he's got like +1 hit, +1 to wound. Then just some Carrick Acolytes, some Screamers, and a Kronspine Incarnate as well. There was a Nurgle list, super cute, Blobe, a Rotbringer Sorcerer, Sporespot Scrivener, 20 Plague Bearers, really difficult to deal with, 10 Blight Kings, also really difficult to deal with, and then some Beasts of Nurgle. I think probably this is the best version of like a Total War army that you can build in Age of Sigmar at the minute, in my opinion. This is the tank and spank kind of list. So both the Plague Bearers and the Putrid Blight Kings kind of create that kind of castle or screening wall that's, you know, the Blight Kings are definitely more of a brawler unit than the kind of tanky Plague Bearer unit. But either way, you get stuck on them, and then the Beasts of Nurgle charge in, do their mortal wounds, fight, charge out, charge in, like they have retreat and charge. I think that's really cool. I think that's a really strong kind of mid-board army with lots of presence, and you can just keep summoning more Beasts of Nurgle to just do more damage in that phase, which I think that's a really fun little list, actually. I really like that. And then finally a Sylvaneth list in Winterleaf, and this is crazy. A Warsong Revenant, a Battle Mage, and then 20 Dryads, 10 Dryads, 5 Tree Revenants, and then 6 Kernoth Hunters with Scythes, 10 Gossamid Archers, 420 points, 20 wounds. That's pretty impressive. And then a Tree Lord, which is pretty nuts. Like this is really good. Tree Lord to make you fight last. Gossamid Archers on a 2-up to run away. Gossamid Archers really good at shooting, obviously, a bunch of different stuff. You're going to be firing a lot of shots, doing D3 mortal wounds potentially. Hunters with Scythes, charging in, fighting, potentially striking and fading. 20 Dryads is a nice screen. Really cool list. Like, again, quite different to the Sylvaneth list we've seen do well previously. So, love to see that. Okay, so over in Wales, we had Gareth Evans running Sigmar's Spice Rack. Particularly nice event art here. We like this. It was being held at Firestorm Games, which is an old car dealership that they've turned into a fantastic gaming venue, just in the outskirts of Cardiff. If you ever want to go out there, there's always someone running an Age of Sigmar event there. It's always a great time. So shout out to them. It was won by, it seemed like a bit of a Welsh GT, because in first place, and our only 5-0 of the event, was Mr. Math Mallow, my good friend. Love that guy, Mr. Matt Davies, from Team Lit. And he was running, it says Ogre more tribes, but that's wrong because he's a jerk like me. And he was running Slaves to Darkness in Legion of the First Prince. That lets you choose a unit and give it a different mark of chaos, which is going to become really important in a moment. He has Be'lakor, shut down the enemy. Really fantastic. I don't know why we don't see Be'lakor in most Slaves to Darkness lists, to be honest. Really powerful. Chaos Sorcerer Lord with Master of Magic, Arcane Tome, and the Mark of Sinesh. The Law of the Damned Chaotic Conduit, and fueled by Gurish Rage in case he dies. And then Chaos Sorcerer Lord with the Mark of Chaos, Sinesh, and the Universal Spell Law Levitate. Then 10 Chaos Knights with the Mark of Nurgle. You'll be like, well, Rob, it's not Sinesh. They can't combine. Wait for it. Okay? 10 of those, they're going to do the classic run in, pin the opponent in, hold them back. Then 9 Unmade, same tech as we talked about earlier in the video. 9 Corvus Cabal, same tech again. Really great. Then 10 Chaos Chosen that are undivided. Right? And you're like, okay, that's interesting. So he gets to roll at the start on their War Scroll on the Eye of the Gods, looking to get extra rend or maybe extra to charge. They've got naturally +2 to charge, thanks to Collaroo in the chat for telling me. And then when they hold an objective, roll again on the Eye of the Gods. Yeah, kill a big monster, I think. It's roll on the Eye of the Gods. But how are you going to do that? They're not very fast. Well, he's got a Chaos War Shrine as well that's also Sinesh. So then what he does is he marks the Chaos Chosen as Sinesh, like with the Legion of the First Prince ability. Then he can give them run and charge and charge on 3d6. And then he's rolling on the Undivided using the banner, the Dread banner, getting those rerolls. Maybe the rerolls don't happen on units. But either way, looking to get additional rend, which is kind of Chosen's weakness, and then just keep slapping people around. He's also got the Soul Screen Bridge, and he's also all in a 1-drop. Absolutely fantastic stuff there from Math Mallow. So, in the 4-1 bracket, we got Natty, who went 4-1, David Towsey, Rowan, Aaron Boyhan, I hope I said that right, who's running OCR Bone Reapers, which is exciting. I've got to touch on Natty, though, going 4-1 in what is a pretty competitive field at this event, because Natty's only 12. Natty has played here at the TSN Arena before. I've played him. Thankfully, didn't lose. Winners of other GTs have, though. And so, yeah, Natty went 4-1. So massive shout out to him, which is absolutely fantastic. He's also hilarious on the tabletop. Really fun. I'd play Natty all day. Great human being. And he's 12. So there we go. At the spice rack. Hot stuff because of the spices at the spice rack, exactly. So shout out to Natty. So Natty was running Lumineth Realm Lord's Geometrica list with a Stone Mage, Tech list, Avalanor the Stoneheart King, and a Wind Mage. Then he's obviously got 10 Stone Guard and 2 units of 5 Stone Guard and the Rune of Petrification. Obviously, we talked about Tech list a lot and all of the tools that Tech list brings. With Stone Guard are kind of the perfect castle wall for them. If you want to make like a strong kind of defensive screen so you can do all of the damage that Tech list is going to be able to bring from behind that, while also doing a load of damage themselves, they're the perfect brawler damage unit. They're an anvil and they're a hammer. Stone Mage obviously helps with that, with the unyielding toughness command trait. And then also Avalanor does really good making stuff -1 to hit, being able to give pluses to attack out to the Stone Guard. So you have a very offensive frontline brawler army, and baller. And then Techlist is just dropping spells, bombs, all sorts of things. So a massive shout out to him. Congratulations on doing so well. We also have a Stormcast Eternals list, Lord Imperator, Ynastra, 3 Annihilators, 5 Vindicators, 3 Praetors, 5 Vanguard Raptors with long strikes. And wait, did I forget to mention Karazai again? That's Karazai 5-0 in New York, Karazai 4-1 in Wales, with almost identical lists. The only thing that's different in this is Ynastra is in this list versus the Lord Imperator, and the Vindicators are in this list instead of another unit of Annihilators. Literally only difference, insane. Insane that's still there. That's great. Magikid and Nurgle went 4-1. Blessed Sons, Blobe, Morbid X, Orgots, Lord of Plagues, Putrid Blight Kings, and some Rotmire Creed. I don't think there's anything really new that needs to be said about Nurgle. Just very solid. I really like the inclusion of both units of Rotmire Creed. I personally think that you can get all 3 units in. I think that's great. Those 10 Putrid Blight Kings are going to be very, very tough to shift. I love that. That's great. And then finally, Oceanic Bone Reapers, and this is a really excellent list because this is everything from the army pretty much. You've got Arkan the Black doing all of the great spells that he's got, and he has taken 2 under spells. The Bone Tide Shrieker, which is just excellent at the moment, especially with all of the different threats out there, and the Nightmare Predator. Then he's got the Mortek Crawler, which is particularly good if he gets paired into Gitz. Gothazar Harvester is going to combo super nicely with the Mortek Guard. The Immortis Guard are going to combo really nicely with the characters because they can bodyguard for the Mortars and Soul Reaper and the Bone Shaper. And then he's got 5 Death Riders and then 6 Necropolis Stalkers. He's got hammers, he's got anvils, he's got magic dom, he's got so many different tools here. He's got resin from the Harvester. Super fun. Love that. And that is it. That is it from everything there. Our last event is from Alingsås in Sweden. Had 24 players, and it was the first 2-dayer for the people in Alingsås. And we have some pretty cool lists. In first place was Konstantinos Kellis. Now, Konstantinos has been playing Khorne for a very long time. He's a very excellent player, and he's going to do lots and lots and lots of damage with this list. In his list, he's got a Khorne Reapers of Vengeance army, and no Scarbrand, which is just crazy. So he's got an Exalted Greater Demon of Khorne. That's right. The Forge World Exalted Greater Demon of Khorne. And if I'm right, I'm just seeing Konstantinos be in the chat. Oh, congratulations on the weekend. He's telling me what the Exalted Greater Demon of Khorne killed. So over the course of the weekend, he killed 9 Bulgors, a Doom Bull, 2 Tuskor Chariots and a Great Brave Shaman, 10 Chaos Chosen, 20 Splintered Fang, and 20 Chaos Sorcerer Lords. 2 Chaos Sorcerer Lords, 3 Chaos Knights, 4 Fiends, 5 Seekers, an Epitome and Bellicor, Sigvald, a Herald, 5 Camo Skinks, 40 Skinks, an Asphalth Bannerbearer, 2-star Priest, and a Slan, an Endrin Master, 5 Fireslayer Foot Heroes, 20 Hearthguard, all killed over the course of one weekend by the Big Buy. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for the 900 bits donation for cheers for Johan Elvin, who went 2-3 with his lizards, representing the Brotherhood of Notchel. I've nailed that. Anyway, Exotic Great Demon of Khorne did a lot of killing. He had the command trait Mage Eater and the artifact the Skullshard Mountain. He had a Blood Secrete, a Slaughter Priest, and a Slaughter Priest. 20 Blood Warriors, which have become insanely cheap. That's 40 wounds with Fight on Death on a 3 for 320 points. Crazy. Crazy stuff. 2 times 10 Bloodletters, a unit of 10 Fleshhounds, and then 3 Mighty Skull Crushers, and then a unit of 5 Wrathmongers, all with the Hex Gorgeous Skulls. Sounds like a real mishmash of units, but I'm sure each element of this list was designed perfectly. So massive shout out to Konstantinos, who's been an excellent Khorne player, and I'm really excited about him getting a new book. Okay, so looking at the 4-1s, we've got Jonas Redeemer. He was running Sinesh in Godseeker's Host. He's got a Contorted Epitome, Sigvald and Bellicor, 3 times 11 Blissbarb Archers, and 6 Fiends, 5 Seekers, and then a Cygor as an ally. Best ally you can get in the game at the minute, in my personal opinion. And then the Dreadful Visage. Absolutely love the Cygor. Really, really excellent. Congratulations to him. Heed Knights going 4-1 is very impressive. Sebastian Hedberg was running Beast of Chaos in Gavspawn. He had a Doom Bull, a Beast Lord, 2 Great Brave Shamans, 3 Morgite Chaos Spawn, some Ungor, some Bulgors, 6 Slangor Fiendbloods. First time I think I've ever been able to say that on stream during a list review. And then 2 Cockatrices and a Gorgon. Okay, Cockatrices for shutting down the enemy units. Slangor for absolutely beating people up. Bulgor is a big hammer unit as well. Something to always be conscious of. Really fun. Really fun. Love that. That's another 4-1 for Beast of Chaos. And Cygor helping Sinesh get to a 4-1 as well. But don't say that Beast of Chaos are good, because they'll come for you. And that's it. That's all of our. Those are all of our 4-1s at the event. It's super fun. Swedish scene is really great. If you get the opportunity to go over there to any of the places in Sweden, they're all lovely people, and go have a great time. So again, wildly varied top end, but we're seeing a lot of Chaos doing very well now, specifically Slaves of Darkness, which is no real surprise to me. They're a challenging army to face, especially in the hands of a skilled pilot. So that's very good. But there are loads of other lists that have done really well. The doom that is the Gitz doesn't seem to be emerging. They seem to be strong, but not indestructible, which I think is interesting. We'll see how that pans out. Now, one of the things that we have got is we have the updated stats for Age of Sigmar, which is actually really exciting to click through and read. If you are someone who is very interested in some of these elements, there's loads of stuff to go through. Some of it needs a lot of interpretation, and they do differ to the Games Workshop stats. I don't know what to tell you, apart from we've been doing this for a long time, and they're new. So ours are probably just better. Thank you to Gurgle Smurfin for donating 5 gift subs in the chat. That's fantastic of you. Thank you. Now, what do the stats say? Well, these stats are for all of this GHB. We currently have 23 tournaments in there, and they showcase that Lumineth Realm Lords are doing the best, as I did say. Sons of Behemoth have been picked to be very bad, doing very badly, potentially not even able to play in this meta. And as you can see, they've got a 56% win rate, which is pretty impressive. Now, there's a load of reasons that we could talk about, a load of reasons that could be the cause of this, specifically things, in my personal opinion, stuff like the fact that Conquerors has gone away, so you can hold objectives better than your opponent can hold those objectives. So that feels pretty good. I would say that there's one of those reasons. So there's lots more objectives in the center. That's also true. Are people creating armies that can beat the DPS check or the damage check, as I call it? Then maybe not. Also, no Bone Splitters in here as well. The rest of it's worth looking at. Carrion Overlord's doing well, but they're about to get a new book. Well, they've just got the new book, so that doesn't count. Gitz are doing quite well since their new book. They're now up to a 54% win rate, if you include only new book lists, which I think is really interesting as well. Slaves of Darkness is sat on a 48% win rate, but they're 10% of the meta, so that's going to be a lot of different skilled players, from your like casual players all the way up to like your tournament pros, playing that army because it's the broadest spectrum. And I think in the hands of better players, you'll do even better with that as an army, which I think is interesting as well. So we are early in the results here, but there is going to be some significant things to talk about when we get more on this, and we are going to do a big review of the stats in the future. Jaws of Galette, most popular battle plan, which I think is fair. I think it's really good. Prize of Galette up there as well. I don't know why the Realm Staying Cash is actually at 5%, but there you go. Meta representation, Slaves of Darkness, most popular army in the game. I called it last year. That's huge. Knocking Stormcast off the top spot is massive. It very rarely has happened in the 5 years that I've been doing stats. I think only one time was it done by Legion of Nagash all the way back in the day. Other than that, it's been pretty much up there. So Slaves of Darkness being 10% of the meta is huge. Ogre Moor Tribe, 7% of the meta. Super easy to build and produce. Super fun to put on the table. You get to shout meat. Sylvaneth maintaining its position at the top at 6%. It's been 7% for like 6 months, ever since their new book, 12 months since their new book came out. So that's great. Lumineth Realm Lords have shot up the rankings. Nighthaunt's still really popular as well. Skaven becoming less and less popular, 4.6% of the meta. Gitz rocketed up. 4.5% of the meta now. I think we'll continue to see that as more and more events keep track, which is fun. The other little stat that's in here that I really like is the positive win rate potential. This is your likelihood to go 3-2 versus going 2-3 in an event. So if you're not too fussed about like going 5-0, but you want an army that isn't going to just suck all the time, this is probably a better metric than win rates, in my opinion. And there's some really good armies up there that can, like, they'll give you some insight in what armies not to take, like Cruel Boys, for instance, or Sinesh, or it seems Soulblight Gravelords, which is quite an interesting take. So the stats are all up there. Go check them out. And other than that, thank you to everyone in the chat who joins me for the Stat Center every Monday. Starts at about 11. Live on Twitch if you want to join me. Thanks to everyone on the Wargamer Patreon who helps support the show. Can't do the show without everyone on Patreon. Everyone on Patreon supports the show, so thank you to you. You guys are literally the best, so appreciate you a lot. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to the chat, and if you've enjoyed this, then do share it with people. Share it with your friends. Share it with people who need the help or just want to know new stuff about the game. So hopefully you've learned some stuff there, and I hope you had a nice time. Thanks very much.